go live button. And it's going live. It says going live. And we're live. We're live about 6 seconds now. So, hello. Now, I realize that I'm currently just talking to myself. Because it's early. I haven't sort of advertised. It says concurrent viewers 2. I don't know who the second concurrent viewer is going to be, but Merry Christmas to you if there is actually somebody out there. And of course, if you're watching this live stream on replay, Merry Christmas to you there as well. Now, what I'm doing a little bit different in addition to my simulcast podcast live stream is I've actually got a chat link available, which I will put into the live chat for an invite into our Discord special chat channel. Now, we don't use our Discord very, very often, but it is there for talking to guests and whatnot. So it's going to be an opportunity for those who might want to actually hop on voice if they so want to. Hey, Merry Christmas, not G10. Thank you very much for coming along. So as I was just saying, I do actually have a link available, and I'm going to actually put that into the chat now. Boop, there you go. So it's a Discord link into our chat channel. If you feel like coming along and saying hello, of course, I would like to ask those who do join to be mindful of language. If you want to come along and say hello. If you don't, then of course not a problem. More than happy to lurk. So just recapping, I've got that Discord available so people can come in. Hopefully their voice will work because I've got audio set up in the stream to also play back, and of course Audacity is recording this for the podcast. So we're juggling a bit of technologies today, and hopefully that will turn out. Now, you may or may not be able to see from the little corner, but I'm actually wearing a Santa apron today, which is about as Christmassy as I'm going to get for clothing and decorations. No party hats for me this year. Definitely don't have the fake beard, and it's certainly too hot to be in a full Santa outfit. I'm hoping everybody's had a great Christmas Eve, ready to go for Christmas Day. Now, of course, I'm also recording this, and hopefully I'll release the audio for it straight away afterwards. And what that will do is allow anybody who is unable to make the stream this morning, and could listen to for a bit of company during Christmas Day if they are spending it alone. Wow, we're up to 3 concurrent viewers. This is pretty cool. Hello for those who are hanging out. Right, now, Secret Santa. So this year is actually my third or fourth year involvement with Secret Santa from the mechanical keyboard community. My first one that I was involved with was a switch tester. It was a little numpad switch tester, a little cheapy sort of AliExpress kind of one. But what happened was I loaned it to somebody that I'd never really met before. I met up with them, and they borrowed it, and I think they moved interstate. It never came home, so I was kind of a little bit sad about that. But hey, that's just how life is. And since then, I've received a minivan last year, which was absolutely amazing. So thank you to Evan from the Van Keyboards for being my Secret Santa last year. And this year, I've been involved in 2 keyboard-related Secret Santas, and I've got them right here next to me. So we're going to open them in a moment. But I want to just say that Secret Santas are really cool, and I haven't seen many people get upset about Secret Santas this year, which is really fantastic. But I do want to remind people that, it's the spirit of the giving. Do not get caught up in whether you got something that you asked for or not. Not everyone is necessarily as, I suppose, fortunate is the best way of describing it, to be able to get something that you ask for, especially when you think about that the price tag that is put on stuff for Secret Santa is typically on the lower side. So it's like $20 or thereabouts. This is really important because when you look at the list for Secret Santa that people have, their wish lists, quite often they're very expensive items. The other thing that you have to consider is, of course, the exchange rate, right? The exchange rate 20 US for some people in some countries could actually be quite significant. And if they don't have a lot of resources to extend past that, well, keep that in mind, right? It's very important to keep that in mind. So, now, of course, I don't know how long this live stream is going to go for. My daughter's been waking up quite early recently, and because I am actually talking and I saw her stirring earlier, then yes, we may very well see my little one run in, and then she wants to do Christmas things. Good morning, Mendez from Take Keyboard. Merry Christmas to you, Andrew. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us here at the Board Podcast, and also for the mechanical keyboard community in Sydney this year. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to just clear my desktop. Let's move my mouse off to the side, and in our Slack, Dominic over in the UK, Merry Christmas, future person. So Merry Christmas to you, person of the past. And they say that they sincerely hope it rains for us here on Christmas Day, and I hope they do too. I hope it rains. It rained yesterday, which was really fantastic. So I'm hoping that it will rain today a lot out in the areas, because Australia, Sydney, struggling with massive amounts of bushfires right now, and it's just not cool. Really, really kind of need to get that rain going, and also because we're in drought. Now I'm going to bring out some Post-it, because I would prefer not to have my address. Oh crap! I'm not used to operating with my microphone down in front, so I'm going to shift that, and that means my voice is probably going to be a little bit more angled. Okay, so let's just sticky note my address a little bit, and I used the wrong side of the sticky note. Of course I did. Nobody's game enough yet to hop into Discord yet. That's okay. That's okay. I understand that not everybody is necessarily interested in chatting, and it is quite early for some people, and not everybody wants to be internet famous either. That's just hunky-dory fine. So this year for Christmas Eve, I went over to my in-laws for lunch yesterday afternoon, which was really nice. We had a really big lunch, and amazingly, I actually didn't gain as much weight as I thought. Hello, Uncle Nasty Fingers. Now I wonder if this is going to be hopefully a bit of a rim job Steve kind of situation. I hope that you'll not make this into a live stream fail kind of scenario, but we'll see how that goes if you actually wanted to turn on your mic and say hello. Now, so this is the first package that I got. This one is from Daily Clack, and this is the Daily Clack one. So I was actually involved with that one, and supposedly it was coincidental that the person that I matched with was also my Secret Santa. So we were kind of concurrent to that, and I nearly flipped it over and showed their name. Bad me. So I'm gonna put over their details as well. But I want to say thank you very much to them for sending it. I know that they've already received their item, so that was kind of good. So that's the other side of the box. Hello, Ryan Lee and Max Phillips. Thank you for coming along and joining this stream. Really love and appreciate it. And yes, indeed, it is already Christmas where I'm at. It's currently 6:52 a.m. Merry Christmas to you all. So we're going to open this Secret Santa from the Daily Clack one. Now the other one that I was involved with is the traditional RMK one that this year Ivan ran through the web package Elfster. So I actually said, I was going to do a video with it, which is what I'm doing with this live stream. So I hadn't actually posted in the RMK Secret Santa thread about that. And I also haven't posted in the Discord for Daily Clark about this one either. Same reasons, because obviously I was hanging on to it for Christmas. Now, let's see what I got. I got bubble wrap. Yay. So, as I was saying, I went to the in-laws and had lunch there, which was really great, and I got a shirt. I got a athletic shirt, long sleeve. It looks like it's a cycling one, which is a really odd choice because I don't actively cycle, but you know what? It's the thought that counts, right? It's actually a really good fit. My in-laws bought it from China because they recently went there on holidays. I don't know why they thought of me for that shirt, but they did. And incidentally, it's actually this bubble wrap blue. It's quite nice. It's in the wash now, waiting to be washed before I put it on. I'll try it. It's long sleeve, so it's probably more suitable for winter. Okay. Ooh. Rightio. So I've got some box pinks and a note. That's pretty cool. Box pinks. Now, $20 is meant to be the limit for this, and I can tell you right now that's more than $20 worth of box pinks, but box pinks ain't cheap. I don't know what the count is on that, so that's nothing is written, but not really going to need to count them. But for those who are not familiar, and if you haven't actually checked out the box pink video, this is a little sound sample of a box pink. It's quite a lovely click. It's a medium click bar switch, so what that means is it sits in between the box white and the box jades in terms of the click bar stiffness, or the box pale blues and the box navies. And in regards to the spring weight, it's also a medium. So it actually sits in between the box white and the box jades in terms of spring weight, same as the pale blues and the navy's spring weight. Now, I'm just going to open this note very quickly off screen, and that way, if there's anything that shouldn't be displayed, then probably won't end up being listed. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So there is definitely something here I probably shouldn't show on stream. Hello, insane robot. Thank you very much for coming on the stream. Hello, Eve. Oh, okay. Merry Christmas, Eve from the States. Currently 2 p.m. for me on the 23rd. 23rd, that definitely doesn't sound right, as Mendez is saying. 24th. Thank you for coming along from the good old US of A. Previously, when I stream, I tend to stream at different times, usually later than this, which makes it a lot more challenging for US streamers, but I thought I'd get up a bit early, and also because my body clock right now is very much still on work mode, because it's a work day. When I say work day, it's a weekday, and I'm used to waking up at 5 o'clock for work, and so my body clock is still kind of adjusted in that. Now I've got a bunch of post-it notes here. I'm just going to put them in my lap, and the reason is they actually have a gift card code. So here's the letter, and I'm happy to share it because it's quite a lovely letter. So I'm just going to read it out because of the podcast that I'm recording simultaneously right now. So it reads, "Hey Don, I've enclosed inverted commas some box pinks, seeing as you enjoyed them on the YouTube video." Okay, so they did see them. Hopefully it isn't too many, but you can never go wrong with too many. That's right, Anthony, definitely not. There's also a $20 gift card code to use at Daily Clack if the box pinks aren't suffice. And that's the post-it notes that I've just taken off. I've been listening to the Bod podcast for about 10 months, and I heard from one of the latest episodes that I've yet to message you. Sorry about that. There was actually a bit of miscommunication about that. And Anthony, please don't feel bad about it. I felt it would be better to communicate after you received your gift out of respect. I appreciate every effort you put into each episode as it helps relieve my daily commute back home from work. You provide great insights and a holistic view on topics and dramas and melons. Thank you for the snag pad amongst the other goodies. I've never soldered in my life, and so I hope you'll be able to provide some guidance with the tools, tips, and tricks before I attempt to assemble the snag pad. Keep doing you, Don. Until next time, happy clacking, Anthony. So, Anthony, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. It's always great to hear from our listeners on the podcast regarding what they do when they listen to the podcast. You know, it comes anywhere from doing the dishes, commutes, just building keyboards, and, you know, anything else in between. Good morning, Choice Lamb. Merry Christmas, homeboys. And from Dombrox, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas clacking. Very nice. So, yes, there you go. Thank you, Anthony. There is some box pinks. Now, the $20 gift card code is really interesting. I've got it right here. And I feel like it's a little bit excessive. If they've already purchased the gift card code, then it means the money's already technically sitting there at Daily Clack. So I'm going to get in contact with Anthony about it, because I don't want to be using that gift card code, because this is plenty suffice. If Anthony doesn't want to take back that gift card code, then maybe we can do a giveaway for it. So, you know, that's something to look forward to on the horizon. $20, you know, even if you're an international, will go a long way, because that'll cover you postage to the US for one. And if you're a local, then that's even better. And, you know, if you are happy to pay for your own postage, $20 will get you things like a switch tester and other things like that as well. So I'm going to say again, of course, thank you to the folk at Daily Clack who arranged it. Hopefully that wasn't sufficiently see-through and people can nick that code. So I'm going to take that box away for the moment. I'm going to reuse these post-it notes. Okay. Now, for those who already woke up nice and early today and have already sat under the Christmas tree and cracked their goodies from Santa, well, feel free, of course, to put in chat and mention whatever it is that you've got while I'm messing with some cardboard boxes. So this second one is really interesting, because I'm pretty sure it's the one from the RMK one, right? Because it makes no sense otherwise that somebody would send me a random box of this nature. Because normally people, if they send me stuff, they'll tell me, by the way, you know, something's coming. If it's something that I haven't ordered myself. And I know that it hasn't been something I've ordered myself, because I don't order from Amazon Australia, and most of the vendors that I've ordered stuff from don't typically come from Amazon as well. So my logical progression here was that it was from Secret Santa. Now, I'm just plastering all these post-it notes. So this is quite a big box. It's quite a heavy box, relatively, and therefore I believe it should be probably a keyboard or keyboard-related kit. So as usual on RMK Secret Santa, I basically say, provide me something interesting that I can do a video or a review of. As well as some other more expensive things, like I've put on that for a couple of years now, like the Synth V1, V2, and now the V3. But what's interesting is it comes from the sender over here, right? I don't know if it's going to fit under the camera or not. Alright, you just have to read it sideways. It says it comes from Amazon Returns. I don't think that's technically where it came from. I think that's just Amazon's automatic address return on it, because if you need to return it, it goes back to the Amazon Returns site. And my camera's just gone out of focus because I was messing with it. Good old reliable, not reliable. Focus on the words. You can do it. Hey, 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 hey. It's funny because I've been using this ruler for the longest time, and I've never even been to Chifley College, never studied there, don't live remotely near it, and it's still my sort of default ruler that I've got on my desk. Oi, camera's not having a good time. What is going on? Why are you not responding properly? Everything's out of whack. Everything's out of focus. Okay. Right, I'm just going to put that back on the table. I'm going to cut it, and then hopefully it might restore some focus. So you'll get to see me blurry live stream fail my webcam. Actually, if I turn off the light source. Okay. Hey, there we go. Good old changing. Choice Lamb says, haven't got anything for myself, but I bought my cousin's son 2 Switch games. Nice. Rest of the family gets whatever junk I got from last Christmas. So this year, my daughter got a drum pad from her grandparents. My parents don't do anything for Christmas. It's just not something that we've really ever done. But my in-laws are the ones that I'm talking about. And so now she's got drumsticks and this little electronic drum pad, which it hooks up to like an aux out, so you can put it to speakers or headphones and stuff like that, and they can beat on it, boom, 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 boom. And it plays drums, synthetic drums. So that'll be really interesting. And I don't know if it's necessarily that your grandparents hate the parents and it's payback time or something like that, but we plan on getting headphones rather than hooking it up to the speaker that was also gifted by the grandparents. She seemed to really enjoy it, so that's something. Okay, so I got some bubble wrap. There's something pink-ish. I'm gonna try and not. It's got lights. No, it's shiny. It's rose petaled. Man, for a moment I thought this thing had like LEDs or something, and it was on, and it had been on glowing away for goodness knows how long, because I've had this in here for ages. Alright, so what I'm going to do, because the box is massive for my desktop, I'm trying not to bump my mic too much. For those who are listening to the podcast, what I've got is what looks to be a keyboard box in a pinkish, silkish, plasticish kind of thing, and it's got a tag. It's got like red things. It's gift wrapped, obviously, and there is a thing that says, keep your gift a surprise, unwrap your present before opening this envelope. Well, this envelope was not stuck down, so it's got order and return information inside. So there's a little card here, and I'm just trying to shuffle it on my desktop. You know what, let's just be smart about this. Let's take it out and actually put it there, because I don't need the box. I am not a cat. I don't need the box to sit in yet, so let's just put that to the side. Let's check out the tag. So whoever Secret Santa is from RMK, Merry Christmas from RMK, stay cool down there. Well, it is definitely a good word of advice this year. Let's see. There you go. You can see that there. No name, which is really interesting, because quite often, people as part of it might actually give away their ID. So it's quite a nice bag. In fact, I think my wife would probably quite like that to use for something else. there's a bow that I'm probably not going to... Let's just do that. Will it allow me to open it without undoing the bow? No, it will not. Alright, I'm sorry, Mr. Pro. Probably shouldn't sing songs, only because singing songs might, get copyright striked. This is quite a durable material. It's double lined, well, layered, at least. It's got the inner fabric and then the outer fabric. It's quite nice. Okay, so I've got a brown cardboard box. Let's go this way. It's a 6+ keyboard. That's actually hilarious because I've got two 6+ keyboards now. I've got the what's it called? I've got the GK64, and what was the other one? The one that's got the speaker underneath the spacebar that I was like going. Ugh. Okay, so it's a what have we got? It's a GK61 optical. Is that the one that I already checked out? Hey, that's alright. I'm gonna open my notepad. So I keep all my notes in Notepad because, like, I'm an old person and I don't really use advanced software packages. Okay, let's just find YouTube text. So I'm just going to show people what I'm talking about. So if I show my right monitor, okay, a little bit of behind the scenes. So here is my right hand monitor. There we go. So I've got Slack open back here on the right, and I've got Discord open here on the left, and here's my YouTube.txt, and this is all of the text that I use to copy and paste into all of my videos. And similarly, I've actually got one for the podcast, so you can see it's quite long because I just keep whacking stuff on the top. But what that allows me to do is essentially, do a very quick Control F, and then I can search for whatever it is that I've got going on, search for links, search for descriptions and stuff like that. And of course, if I somehow lose on my entire YouTube channel, I've got all my videos still on my hard drive, so I can re-upload them and match them against their descriptions as well. And I guess that's kind of my way of managing my content. So let's find with a... get my keyboard back over. Control F, GK61. It says cannot find. So let's see, GK. Let's find GK. All right. So I've got the GK66. Is that right? Find next. GK66 and GK68. Okay, so I have not checked out a GK61. Cool bananas. So I knew I'd definitely seen two GK keyboards. So here's the GK61 optical with brown switches, so that's going to be tactile, ANSI US. It's a black keyboard and it's got RGB. Cool. Thank you very much, Secret Santa from RMK. I don't know who you are yet, but that's before we open that up very quickly. Let's check this out. Now, this might have the name details and possibly cost value. So there we go. William Chapin. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and I think it's super thoughtful that you've actually gone out and bought a keyboard that I haven't actually checked out and reviewed before as well. so it can be part of that series. A little bit of compare and contrast, I guess, for the GK keyboards. So William, really appreciate. I hope whatever it is that you got from the RMK Secret Santa as well is going to bring you much joy and use in your keyboard sphere. Pretty cool. And it was purchased via the HK Gaming Keyboard store and ships from Australia. So yeah, I don't know if you're within Australia, William, or not. I guess if you are not within Australia, then yeah, even more amazing effort to get that shipped from Australia. Awesome. So I'm definitely not going to misplace that. I'm just going to fold that up. Let's have a very quick cursory look at the 61. Oh, nice. So the 61 is a standard 60% keyboard by the looks of it. Well, I don't actually mind the fact that they have that font on it. It's not as bad as a lot of that gaming font because it is a little bit stenciled in that some of the letters have the split in it. So like for example the O there is, the split ring, but it's not as heavy gamer compared to some other ones. Now this is a USB-C through there. I don't know if it's wireless model or not. It comes with a very heavy card that actually has function layers on it. So it seems to have a bunch of function layers on it. Now the down here, we've got some adjustments online mode. Okay, so I wonder if that's why the other keyboards weren't working with the software. You have to actually boot it into some kind of online mode for it to connect to the software. Specifications, enter power saving mode after the keyboard connection. Okay, so it's not wireless version, which is fine. There's no issue with that. I don't have a problem with it. And it's got a lovely braided cable by the looks of it. It's got a switch puller and a keycap puller. For the amount of money it costs them to produce this, it really would premiumify their products if they went up to a proper switch puller. A proper keycap puller instead of these things. But then again, you're using gaming cheapy keycaps. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm not going to obviously run through a review right now for it, but that's really cool. It's got a good heft to it. Draws 5 volts, 250 milliamp is what it says there. Rightio. Nice. So that's it for the Secret Santa component. I came away this year with a keyboard, which is really lovely, and the switches. Not quite sure what I'm going to put the switches into, but I guess that's something to think about for the future. Now, of course, I'm not advertising GK6 Plus products, so I'll put that away. Now, nobody's really hanging out in the chat, and that's okay. Not really expecting people to necessarily hang out in the chat and whatnot. Now, I do have a Gleam competition to draw, which is pretty important. So I'm just going to get to my competitions page. So this year, I decided to celebrate our 3,000 subscriber giveaway with a... what am I giving away? Yes, I'm giving away the keyboard, the Kumo, courtesy of Mitenole, who's actually here within our chat group. So thank you very much, Mitenole, for donating that. Now, I had said you need to put down what our catchphrase was. And this is really interesting because not everybody got it right. Not everybody got it right. So for those people who are here in the YouTube chat, I'm going to ask you the question. And the question is, what is our catchphrase used in our videos and podcast? It's a very specific question, right? What is our catchphrase? Because the question specifically says videos and podcast. So I'm going to share, because there's no personal details of note here, what the entry list shows. Okay, and this is what, if you've never seen the back end of Gleam, because you've never had to run a competition, this is what the back end of Gleam looks like when you have all the entries and the bulk actions. So what we have here is that there is essentially the users, the action. I only had one action, so normally you would see a lot more line items here because it would show you the actual specifics, like, click on a web page, or like and subscribe stuff, or things like that. But the action was to answer the question, was our catchphrase used in our videos and podcast? And I'll take certain variations because it's acceptable, but there are some that are just not quite there. Now, the only reason why I'm lifting this and it's blocking my face is so I can actually see under the boom arm. Happy clacking is actually the correct answer, because for those people who typed in something like this, it's done here from the board. I'm sorry. The podcast doesn't say that. The podcast intro is not even remotely the same. So that's why, unfortunately, if this person from Warsaw, if your name gets drawn, it is incorrect. This person from Berlin, I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. From Allentown, not so good for you either. This one I'm going to kind of give you, it's a bit of a gimme, because they've got the right thing, which is hacky clacking, but they've been a bit tongue-in-cheek, and they've put in Kevin is away traveling. Not really so much of a catchphrase, but that's how it is. It's done here from the board. I'm sorry, from Hammondville. Now, 53 entries actually isn't very much. Sorry, 56 entries. To win a Kumo keyboard, you got a pretty good chance, because a lot of these are starting to get blown away. There is one in here, okay, which is even funnier because it says it's Dawn here from the board. So whoever this person is from Milpitas, I do apologize, because unfortunately that's not right on two levels. And another one from Materi. So I don't know, maybe it's just the accent that I have that makes people think my name is Dawn. So there you have it. So there's 56 entries. Now I'm going to de-share the screen, because after I draw it, it will actually show their email address, and I don't want to dox the potential winner, because then I also have to invalidate potentially and strike out if it's a incorrect answer. So the thing is, I have this really massive space here, and I feel like I need to fill it with something. So I'm just going to put my keyboard back there, at least if somebody sees a thumbnail and whatnot. If they're logging in, they'll see a mechanical keyboard with some keycaps. NK. Hello, NK. Thank you very much for joining us in this live stream. Yes, happy holidays to you all indeed. For those, of course, who don't actually celebrate Christmas for religious reasons, personal reasons, and things like that, that's okay. Not a problem. Happy holidays, happy holidays. Okay, where's my mouse cursor? There we go. How do I draw winners? Okay, to the winners tab. One prize left. Draw winner. Winners to draw. One. Allow repeat winners. No. One winner unpicked from 56 potential. And draw. Aha, so this person has managed to get it correct. So it's entry 55 out of 56. Okay, how am I going to, okay, I'm just thinking about a clever way of potentially showing this legitimacy without giving away their personal details. So I'm going to open my notepad. Then I'm going to resize notepad to block out some details. Yeah, because, I'm going to be clever like that. All right, make sure not to click on that screen. Here we go. Hello, Dean Estiva. Thank you for joining us here on this live stream, and Merry Christmas to you and all in the Philippines. Philippines has a really massive following, actually, because I see the Facebook group for Mechanical Keyboards Philippines, and yeah, you guys are super active. Now, of course, back to the 3,000 subscriber giveaway. Congratulations to Lucas Ashby from Muskegon. I don't know how that's pronounced, but it is in MI. Is that Michigan? Great Lakes area, MI? And the correct answer, until next time, happy clacking, is there. Congratulations. Way! I'd ring, a whole bunch of bells, ring, if I had some, but I don't. So, Lucas, I will be in contact with you very shortly to get your address, and then I'm going to package up that Kumo, which, silly me, I should have thought about it. It's actually in the other room, and it will make its way to you very, very, very shortly. Fantastic. And I didn't dox somebody with their email address. That said, I probably shouldn't have, produced their surname too, but it's the internet. Hopefully people who are watching this will not be too toxic. Okay, so let's de-share the right screen again. All right, let's close that. And I will shrink that. So I was thinking about what else could I talk about and potentially show. And I thought, well, because this is also being simulcast here, when I say simulcast, it's been recorded for the podcast at the same time as a bit of a double whammy. I want to go through the 2019 census data. I had, for those who are watching on the live stream, I ran the Board Podcast census a while ago. The thing was, I only got 25 entries. Now, 25 entries it's statistically enough if you wanted to run a population curve on it. The problem is, I've never written a census before, and, well, I couldn't do a lot of statistics because a lot of wordy answers. So I'm going to run through them here so we can just have a general feel of what our community is like here at the board. So what I've done is I've stripped off the name and email addresses for the census data, and then I've sorted it by per answer. Now, some of them won't make a lot of sense because they refer to previous answers, which we no longer have any connection to because of the way that I've cleansed and manipulated the data for anonymity purposes. So let's have a look. In terms of our age group, we have quite a young population. We only have, 3 people here who are between 41 to 50, and only one older person between 51 to 60. The bulk of them seem to be, in fact, how many have we got there? We've got 10 who are 31 to 40, and then we've got 8, 9, so it's almost even on that sense, and then a small who are quite more so on the younger side, 16 to 20. So we're probably looking around the mid-20s as our population, and that's okay. We've got sort of technical apprentices, TAFE, we've got some high school, and we're starting to get into a bit more sort of education stuff. We've got some masters and a large number of undergrads, so that's pretty even to first world countries. Now, our occupations that our keyboard enthusiasts have, very interesting. Designer, doctor, electricians, electronic engineers, embedded developers, IT, mechanic, price management. Wow, okay. Produce clerk. It's a very American term, produce clerk. I wouldn't say that anybody in Australia would ever say, yeah, I'm a produce clerk. And then a lot of software devs, software engineers, software tester, startup founder. Hey man, like that is really cool. Now, you got to ignore the country column because like I said, I sorted them. Okay, so it's not directly connectable anymore. Whoever you are, person that is the startup founder, I would love to have a chat with you to hear your stories in regards to, well, essentially, yeah, what it was like to start up a educational toys business. Very cool. University faculty advisor, pretty cool. And I think I know who that person is, who is the writer. So, demographically, country-wise, USA is quite a significant chunk. We're talking 13, which is half the population. 14 even, United States. A little bit over in the UK, locally Southeast Asia, a little bit of Europe with Belgium, Italy, North America is represented there, in Canada as well, and then a small portion who got involved from Australia. How much do you type a lot? A lot to moderate. Nobody said not a lot. Okay, what do we do with our typing? Email, chat, all above, code. Well, that's obviously our software people. Emails, web writing, documents. Emails seem to be a lot. Gaming? Yeah, okay. Do you take a keyboard to work? No's. Very small amount of no's. A very large amount of yes. Like, that's actually really cool. I love the fact that, 20 out of 25, that's like 3/4 are taking their keyboards to work. That's actually very, very cool. Now, today's chat's been a little bit quiet-ish. So Don Brock says 62 looks quite cool. Maybe 61 would change FN placement. Maybe someone has made up software which does. So, interesting. Now, I don't want to go through all of these fields because there's a lot of them, right? So let's just sort of cherry pick our way through them now that we've kind of got through the early stuff. People have been around keyboards quite recently, really. We're looking, within a couple of years, last 2 years for most part. 5 years from WhatsApp Code. Now, what do other people collect? This one I thought I'd throw in to see the breadth of what our community plays around with. And Ethiopian coffees is quite surprising one. Fountain pens seem to be featuring stuff. Gym equipment. Magic Gathering, CSGO skins, Magic Gathering, music, camera lenses, nice. Kayaking, climbing. No other hobbies. Wow, man, you guys must have so much money that you can put into keyboards. That's pretty cool. So RMK seems to feature quite heavily for most part. And then they hang out in a couple of different others, the usual suspects, nothing too different. So these people who also don't have hobbies also don't hang out in other places. Very interesting. Slack and idle and about 25 discords. Okay, let's zip through the number of keyboards that you own and have had. So seems like quite low. The highest that we've actually got here is 14 keyboards. That's a good amount of keyboards actually, but for most people it seems to be around less than 10. How many have you owned in total? So we've talked about buy and sell and trade. So we're talking up to 20. Some people have done secondhand purchases. Group buys. Whoa. So somebody's been involved in 15 group buys. Wow, that's a lot. And of course, on the lower spectrum, people who've never been involved in them. Purchases quite low, up to 6 from actual vendors. Purchases that were Kickstarter or Indiegogo's 9. That's actually quite a lot. Crowdfunded ones. Purchases from community vendors 15, also a good number. Physical stores. This is an interesting one because we see quite a low number here, 0, right? So a lot of our community aren't buying from traditional physical stores. But then we've got one person that says more than I can count for keyboards maybe 3 times. So even that, because it's obviously keyboard specific and they've chosen to interpret it in a different way, we're not really going to brick and mortar traditional stores to buy our keyboards. Not surprising, but at the same time, that means if you do want to be marketing your product, these days, getting it into a store is not the way to go. Okay, how many purchases that have not been fulfilled? 6. Wow, somebody is waiting on 6 group buys to finish. That is definitely going to be a fun wait. Okay, so colorways, Canvas, Solarized, GMK Cafe, Dots, Oblivion. It's actually all over the shop, which is quite interesting. Keycap profiles. We've got quite a good mix here too. SA, XDA, MT3s, Cherry. Y, people like them. Haven't tried other profiles, so that's a good one. Feels good, feels great, feels fancy. Easy to type on. Okay, cool. How many key sets? From no key sets to 19 key sets. Holy smokes. Whoever you are, if you got 19 key sets, that would take up a lot of space. Okay, standard kits, probably skip that. Specific profile. It's good to see that nobody really sticks to too much. A couple of people who say, they're definitely after some very, very specific sets. Switch preferences. Okay. Box Royals, Holy Pandas, Linears, Tactile, Zelio. So Tactile's definitely winning out there. Not a lot for the clicky loves. Best switch for office workplace. Quiet, alias. So Troy Slam says, rich man too, if you got 19 key sets. Because at anywhere between $100 to $250 per key set, if you're not counting additional kits and novelties. That's in the order of $4,000 worth of keycaps. Whew, that's a lot of dosh. Right, I love the fact that some people think best switch for offices is going to be the Box Navies, and I'm with you all the way. Some Silence, Helios, Linears. And then the worst switch. Well, there is definitely some consensus there that the clicky types are the worst switches. Of course, somebody even said beam springs, buckling springs, butterfly membranes. Well, that must be because of the feel rather than the sound. Yeah. Okay. Layouts. Good mix there. 140 Ortho, Atrius. Their own. That's pretty cool. Plank. So we've got a good spread. Now, what's that one? Favorite layout is... Oh, why is it your favorite layout? Okay, well, let's hop that. Layout that they want to try. So there's a good spread. 40s, some split keyboards, some ergo keyboards. Wow, look at this. None. There is no layout that you want to try but have not yet tried. Come on, expand your horizons. Could be a layout that you've never tried that has essentially... It could be your next favorite layout. Open your horizons. Okay. ANSI, ISO. Some people are using both. That's cool. QWERTY is king. Very small. 1 Colmac and 2 Dvorak users. Most useful option, backlit. QMK support, extra ports. Programmability is remappable. That's pretty cool. Split. split Bluetooth. Okay. What is the most useless? Too many keys, rotary encoders, RGB. Speakers beep every time you press a key. So, yeah, seems like gaming mode that disables the Windows key. Yeah, I can understand why that exists. If you're a hardcore gamer and you're spamming your keyboard in very intense activity, you do not want to accidentally hit that Windows key at all, because that's going to ruin your day, especially in competition. That's for sure. A spacebar that takes up more than 2U. Oh, I see. So, yeah, it's interesting that we've got some variants on what people think are useless. Cup holders. What keyboard has a cup holder built into it? Anyone know what keyboard has a cup holder built into it? Hello, Neomantas FX. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for coming along and checking it out. That should be like that's the YouTube catchphrase at least. Artisans, nay, so nays and yays for sculpted and blanks. Artisans, let's check it out. Ooh, okay, 25 artisans. To be honest, 25 isn't that many. So depends, because you can get artisans anywhere from $10 all the way up to the horrendously expensive. But that's a decent amount. Dream setups, let's zip through perhaps a beam spring, planks, minivan with carbon. Is there an end game? No, seems to be the common answer. And then about a third says yes. Have you hit end game? So yes, 4 people have hit end game. 4 people have hit end game. That's fantastic. What do we listen to the board podcast for? Amusement, community, Arietti saying happy clacking. Aww. My opinions. Someone having a bit of a funny there for about an hour. Mitanile singing. Perhaps news I've missed. Well, there, Mitanile. They want to hear you sing more. So, Choice Lamb says, only a firelighter holder and a phone holder. So, we still don't know where that cup holder keyboard is coming from. Group buys, sense of community. Okay. Sweet spot for a keyboard seems to be around anywhere from 150 to 300 pounds. 300 pounds is quite a lot of money. Somebody's individually set themselves 500 AUD, which is about 300. So that's actually okay. Yeah. I think under 300 for a custom seems to be a good point. And what do you want to see on keyboards going into the future? More color options, keycaps, reduction in cost. Yes, that's very important, reduction in cost. Low profile adoption and Bluetooth. We are starting to see a lot of stuff for for Bluetooth and wireless. Wi-Fi stuff is really coming through. Hello, Adrian. Sayasane? Sorry if I'm butchering your surname there. Thank you for coming along and joining us here. Cheaper is another one. Better quiet switches. I think our quiet switch options for traditional MX switches are actually already pretty good. Short of, putting more dampening materials, which has already been done in things like silent switches. What more can you do to make switches silent? I mean, I'm talking there more about innovation as opposed to better options. And I suppose better options include cheaper options because, for example, if you get the Zeal Zilliants, they're very expensive. So that's possibly something. Connectivity, new switch types, high production volume for ergos, better chock keycap support. Yes, that's very important. A lot of chock users don't get good keycap support and custom keycap sets out of that. Less lead times. That would be really, really cool, having less lead times. Adrian says, nowhere even close. I'm very sorry. If you wanted to try and phonetically it out, I'm more than happy to give it another crack at pronouncing your surname. More 40 ortho sets. Yeah, they're right in the comment here that I can't spend 150 for a kit and only use 40% of it. But it makes it very challenging, and this is a discussion that I've kind of partially had previously on what should keycap sets include, because manufacturers don't want to do sets for tiny amount of keycaps, because if you go, well, your base production is going to be a 40% kit, then the MOQ for it is probably going to be way high for them to be making it worthwhile. Whereas if you do the bigger key set, then the MOQ will probably come down for them. So it's a balance, it's a trade-off. Built-in wrist rests. There's still a lot of debate in regards to wrist rests, because some people love them, some people don't. You know, the whole philosophy about floating, so that you shouldn't be keeping your wrists on stuff. Yeah, definitely some contention there about wrist rests. More programmability. So, what do you mean by more programmability? If you have a custom keyboard that runs off something like QMK, it's pretty programmable already. Rightio. So, yeah, that's it's good to see. Wireless minivan. Well, now that the key company has taken on the sales rights for that, then maybe that's something that you can approach them to talk about, working with Evan as well if he is interested in revising it. What's the most single important thing to convince you to buy a new keyboard? Cost? Spare time. Something different. Looks, layout, innovation, the need for a reward. Yes, reward yourself with a new keyboard. Ultra hacking keyboard with hot swap would be nice. New switch type. Okay. So it's interesting that a new switch type would lend you to buying a new keyboard as opposed to buying a new switch type and then swapping it, unless if they're specifically talking about that, like the optical switches or like the Hall effect switches, which you would have to have paired with a new keyboard to make that functional and make that viable. So NK says, I've never tried Top Ray and Helios yet. Well, Top Ray is relatively accessible these days, especially if you go to a meetup, because you will come across HHKBs or, you know, the Leopolds. You'll come across even the Royal Clutch keyboards these days that come to meetups and stuff like that. Helios, I wouldn't say that they're most common because they are still quite expensive, but in a switch tester you'd probably still come across it. So if you have an opportunity to get yourself to a meetup, then by all means that's going to be your best place to check them all out. Now, monthly spend on keyboards. Small amounts, 50 to 200, 50 to 60 pounds, 100-ish, 150 to 200 depending on key sets. Ooh, and then text. So, well, we're still looking probably quite low, which I don't know really what I was expecting, but $100 a month is actually probably quite reasonable if you think about it. Buying switches and lubes, cheap keyboards, plates, parts. Yeah, $100 a month. Okay, it's not too bad. What's the most you've spent on one keyboard? Where are we going with this? 800 euro. 800 euro, 800 euro. Have I got higher? 800 euro. And sold. 800 euro is the most expensive by the looks of it. Or 600 US for Austin. 500 for the Bauer. Ooh, that's pretty hefty. Okay. How much would you ever spend in a group buy? About 500 if my wife lets me. The Ministry for Finance, as I've heard it being referred to, 600. We're talking some pretty high amounts. I mean, okay, so I've only put down money now for one group buy and keycap set, which is GMK Firefly. I'm going to be expecting it probably around the April-May timeframe, and that was like 250 or so US for it, or Australian thereabouts. And for me, that was quite a lot to trust, some rando, even through like a respected vendor, Daily Clack, to have that produced. But 500-600 is a lot of money, definitely. and current satisfaction, maybes, no's, and yeses. So it's interesting because despite the fact that there's a lot of satisfaction, right? We're talking 17 people out of 25 are satisfied, and then we've got 6 that say maybe. People haven't said the same for endgame. So satisfaction and endgame aren't correlating in the same way. Of course, the final question is, should we move from Slack to Discord? And the yeses is 11, so just under half, and then some maybes. Slack obviously doesn't have as much features compared to Discord in some ways, but I find that Discord tends to punch through discussion a lot faster, a lot quicker, and it makes it harder to have conversations that run through. And because we use our Slack as a way to help each other for design and stuff like that, not that I'm going to show it here because I don't want any content to be leaked for people who aren't part of our Slack community, then it makes it a little bit easier to retain that kind of respond, and also because of threading, because people can respond directly to posts in that. Now, I'm, happy with running separate programs and keeping us on Slack, because I already have so much saturation on Discord as it is. I don't really want to have to cut my focus that way, and that's the reason why I'm currently still choosing to stay with Slack. So unless if there's some major reasons for it to head over to Discord, we probably will stay on Slack. Now, if you want to join us on our Slack channel, I'm just going to close off the census. What I'll do is I'll actually provide a link to this sheet in the podcast notes. So if you are interested in checking them out yourself and having a proper read, then feel free to do so. So, this is the general channel in our Slack. If you want to actually be part of our Slack group, send me an email to theboardpodcast@gmail.com and I will send you an invitation so you can join us. There's 107 people here, but most of them are lurkers. People pop in and pop out and whatnot. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Rightio. So that's all that I've really kind of prepared this week for this Christmas live stream. I really wanted to just mostly cover through the Secret Santa stuff and the prize draw, and I've done that now, and of course go through that census content. Now, NK also says, I see some Knox area groups are pretty expensive buy-ins. Well, we are starting to see some very high-end premium group buys, because people demand quality products, which is perfectly fine. But at the same time, people are putting in high costs because they're using quality vendors to produce, and quality always comes with that kind of cost. Good morning, Ariete. Do you want to come up and sit on Santa's lap? Yeah? Alright. Why am I a Santa? Well, because Daddy thought he would be funny and put on the Santa barbecue apron. What have you got in your hand? You've got a book. It's your baby's first story time rhymes. Now, Daddy's actually talking to people on the internet, and one of them said that they love hearing you say happy clacking. So, do you want to say happy clacking nice and loud? Yeah. Yeah? Go for it.
Happy clacking.
Thank you. Now, is there anything, do you want to say Merry Christmas to Daddy's friends? Yeah? Go on.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. So there you go. Yeah. Got to hear her eke out a sleepy bed hair. Merry Christmas. What are we going to do today, Ariete? We're going to stay home. You're going to play with the dollhouse and have Mummy help you paint it today?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. All right. And decorate it. Yeah. Okay. So it's actually really good timing. It's really good timing because we've already been running just a bit over an hour now. Everything that I wanted to do on this live stream, we've already done and got to hang out and wish you all a Merry Christmas, for those especially who are still on Christmas Eve. And yeah, I just want to give my thanks to everybody in this community who've been so supportive in the last 12 months, as well as in the last 3 years that we've run the YouTube channel and the podcast. It's just been an amazing journey so far. And, shout out to Mutanale for being such an amazing person, supporting this channel with heaps of things for me to do content on. Shout out to Mendez from Tay Keyboards for also being like the big brother to us here and, giving us free plugs and mentions on his content. Also running meetups with Ryan and so on and so forth. I want to say a massive shout out to Danny from Kibio for being one of our primary sponsors of the podcast and providing heaps and heaps of very expensive kits for giveaways. I want to say the same to Jesse from DIY Keyboards in providing us monthly prizes. I want to say thank you to Busgamer1 from Idea 23 as well for all of his support in the last couple of years. Without all of those guys, without you guys, your donations on things like Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, we definitely wouldn't be able to put the stuff that you've seen coming through. So yeah, I hope all of you guys have a very lovely, relaxing, safe Christmas and holiday period coming across through into the new year if I don't get to catch you, or if you're busy traveling and whatnot and won't be able to hear next week's podcast episode. So we're going to say goodbye and Merry Christmas to you all. And of course, our outro as per usual. So until next time, happy clacking. Now, of course, we've got to wait for the delay, and I don't know, I'm just going to stick my hand there so I can see it on the stream before I cut everybody off. You going to wave bye-bye? Okay. Hooroo. Wow, it's a very long delay.